Hi everyone, John here from All Miniatures Great and Small, and today we're doing What's on the Table, and if you haven't guessed already, it's more Soviets. The green tide rises up against the Germans. As you can see, I've dug into my new Russian starter box army, and I've built a couple of units out of there. That box comes with 4 of the ISU chassis and 4 of the IS-2 chassis, and then I had a couple from the previous late war box that came out last year with the forces of late war. So in essence, I managed to get 6 of these guys and 6 of those guys painted. So I'm pretty happy. So these were the ones I've done over the last week. I wanted to give myself some more options in list building, and I figured why not start with heavy armor first, as well as Recon. So let's look at these. These are BA-64s. They're pretty much done. I think I'm pretty much going to call them done, except for the crew. Like, I got to do the crew's face and some of that stuff. But the weathering is done. The decals are done. The highlighting is done. I like these guys. They're nice and tiny, and they were easy to put together and paint. Technically the turret can turn, but since it's like front armor 1, side armor 1 or something like that, game wise that doesn't really do anything except look cool when you turn it. So I've got those. I painted up 3 of those so I can run them as a unit of scouts, or I could just take one and use it as an observer for artillery. So it does have some functions here. I built up 5 IS-2s with these Allied recognition stripes, and I like how they turned out. I hand painted the recognition stripes, and I know I didn't put them anywhere, I put them everywhere that they show up in all of the pictures. But looking at historical photos, really these recognition strips look like they were just hand painted on by the guys in the tank. So they're very rough. So hand painting those, I feel, is more historically accurate than if I had taped them off. At least that's the excuse I'm giving myself. And plus, sometimes they just did the side, sometimes they did the top. So I was happy with the way it turned out. But it gives it gives these tanks at least a little color to pop on the battlefield, so they're not all green. And you can see I've done some weathering, some of these a little bit more. I have some of the Flames of War pastels. I guess actually they're MIG, but were sold by Flames of War. And I think that turned out pretty good. You can really see some of that dirt. I don't try to go too crazy, but these are tanks, so I want them to have some grime on them. So I painted up those 5 so they could be like a single platoon. And then this IS-2, I didn't put the stripes on. I kept him separate in case I want to use him as like a company commander or battalion commander, however you want to call it. There you can see I've got some of that weathering powder around the hatches and stuff too. That turned out pretty good. And then over here I painted up 3 of the ISU 122s. These are the 122s with the long barrel. And I think they're cool looking tanks. So I have a unit of 3 of those, and then a unit of 3 of these. I pulled some of the other AMGAS guys, Jacob and Sam, who play Soviets, and asked them which ones should I build, the 152s or the 122s. They said 122s, more 122s. But so I built a unit of those for sure, and then I thought for variety's sake, even if they're not the best in comparison to the 122s, I think the 152 looks awesome, just with that short, giant barrel. And plus, maybe we'll get into some city fighting, and those will pay for themselves. So there you go. That's so these guys I'm pretty much calling done except for the crew. These crew, especially like this guy, you notice he's in white. I've been using contrast paints for the crew, at least for big parts of the crew, just to get them done somewhat quickly. And I think they turned out okay. There's a lot of tools in the toolbox, so I've got to, I've got to paint those two crew members. But otherwise, I'm going to call these guys done. What's next for my Soviets? Well, I've got some T-34s to paint up, but I'm probably going to go with these guys, the Su-172s. The starter army box came with a unit of 4 of those. I think I'm going to do those because it's a cheap unit. I think 4 of them for 10, and it can act as artillery or direct fire. And direct fire is like anti-tank 9, but still, I think that could look pretty cool. Alright, so there you go. That is my Soviet adventure. I will mention that that we do have a Flames of War Patreon, where monthly we're releasing battle reports for our Patreons only. So for September, for example, we released a Soviet battle report. So I'll leave a link down below if you want to check that out. Otherwise, if you guys are just YouTube, we'll be releasing a battle report here probably in early October with some of these units you see in front of you. So that's probably going to be the soonest we can get a battle report out on YouTube, particularly with school starting up and all that stuff going on. But in the meantime, I'm just going to be adding more and more units to my Soviets so that when we do play, I'm not going to be playing with the same army over and over again. I can give you guys some variety. So I already have Su-100s and Su-85s. I've got these guys. After I knock out these tanks, I'm probably going to whip up another platoon of infantry, or sorry, Soviet company of infantry. I've got some more anti-tank guns, the 76mm anti-tank guns that can double as artillery guns. Looking forward to getting those on the table too. But there you go. That's what I've got so far. That is my Soviets for this week. As always, I appreciate you guys watching. Please do check us out on Facebook at All Miniatures Great and Small. We would appreciate and love a like and subscribe here on YouTube. Click that bell to receive notification when we publish new content. As always, though, thanks for watching, and keep on wargaming.